A woman went and made a Reddit account so she could type up this story for me. So I'm totally doing this one. She says, I started 2025 off with my husband arguing with me about how I fill up the coffee machine water wrong, and I'm done. That title grabbed me, and this is a long one, so buckle up, Buttercup. Like I said, this one's long. She says, obviously, this isn't the only issue, but really, it's just the straw that broke the camel's back. A week or two ago, I had a moment of clarity. He was arguing with me because earlier that day, in order to start cleaning up our bedroom, because we recently bought and moved into a new house, I divided our son, and my husband's dirty clothes that I had up until that point all been combined in a moving box. My husband does his own laundry, and I take care of my and our toddler's clothes. I had put his dirty clothes in a basket and kept it away from his clean clothes. Side note, he tends to mingle clean and dirty on the floor regardless because he's literally a trash person. But I digress. Just another issue with him. I was in the process of getting ready to bathe, and therefore his clothing was not at the forefront of my mind. He had taken the clothes in the dirty basket and dumped them into his clean clothes, and only after the fact did I even notice what basket he had, and then informed him they were dirty. The argument from him was I should have told him sooner. But again, as I explained to him, it wasn't on my mind. He's also a grown man and he could simply do a sniff test. This argument went on for over 20 minutes, and I finally said, this argument is going around in circles. All right, the argument is going around in circles. Next time, I'm just not going to say anything and save myself an argument. Last time I do anything for him. He wanted to continue arguing, and I was just tired and just wanted to shower and go to bed. I asked him to leave the bedroom because I was done and wanted to shower. I ended up having to repeat over and over, please leave the room. This isn't going anywhere. Please remove yourself to go cool down. He never leaves me alone when I ask. Another red flag. I know, he's just a giant red flag. I had to physically usher him out. I didn't touch him, but I did make moves to close the door in his face. Finally, he walked away. And of course, he just can't shut the F up. And he goes, you're acting crazy, because I was just repeating I wanted him gone and not saying anything else. He has a tendency to say, you're crazy like your mom, or other iterations of you're crazy, you're acting crazy, etc. Now, yes, my mother does have mental health issues, issues with I don't even know what, because I had to cut her off. Lots of abuse from her in childhood, and I'm talking with my therapist on the possible CPTSD they noticed during my ND screening. Now, there were mentions in the past of her possibly bipolar, but she tried to commit sewer slide several times in the past, etc. Lots of mental health issues. So when he says I'm crazy, it literally sets me off. And he does it on purpose. So then I do act crazy because I'm sick of his at that point. So I was just standing in front of him, getting ready and just letting the ridiculousness of the whole argument just really sink in. I told myself, enough is enough. And I went into the living room where he was and told him the next time he calls me a derogatory name, his faves are the B word, see you next Tuesday, and his favorite, crazy, that I'll leave him. Now, when men try to trigger you, this is called reactive abuse. They try to trigger you so that you come for them. You are arguing, you're looking crazy so that he can say, aha, see, she's the crazy one. They do this on purpose. You have got to know what reactive abuse is. They do this on purpose to make you seem like the bad guy. Please don't fall for their shenanigans if you know that they are trying to trigger you on purpose. Okay, she continues. I shouldn't even have to set that boundary in the first place. He acted like his world was ending. I'm not even joking. He was staring at the ground, head in hands, like I just told him his cat died or something. He, of course, tried to say whatever excuses, and I stopped him, told him very sternly, this is me letting you know. You don't need to say anything. This is me telling you. Anyway, to the title of the post. This morning, he was home. Not usually a day he's home. Today is a holiday for USPS, so he doesn't have to work. Yay. I have ADHD and autistic traits diagnosed, and therefore routines are my life. And when he's home, he F's up my routines so bad. In the morning, I make my coffee. And while that's going, I make our son coffee, usually some Eggos with fruit and a cup of milk. Husband was in the small kitchen, essentially in the way. The coffee machine, a Keurig, was out of water. I don't like to take the tank off because there's always stuff in the way and I end up making a mess every time trying to get it back into the machine. I will take a large cup, limited time avatar way of water cup. She needed to let us know it was an avatar to refill the machine. I fill up the cup 2 times. That's the way I do it, and it works perfect for me. The whole argument was over how I fill up the coffee machine. Fill the coffee machine up wrong, and how I was in the way in the kitchen because he wanted to make breakfast. But literally, I'm just doing my morning routine. I'm just so done. I can't anymore. What a stupid thing to start an argument about. And literally the morning of the new year, no less. And I realized I can't do this anymore. So I went into the basement to remove myself from the argument. When I finished my breakfast and coffee, I came upstairs to do my workout because I recently stepped on the scale and didn't like the number I saw and have been unhappy with myself since having my son almost 2 years ago. He tried to say some stuff, but to be honest, at this point, I'm tuning him out. I just don't even want to be around him or converse with him because an argument will start. Anyway, I just told him I'm tired and I'm done. And now, suddenly, after a half a year of begging him to get us into marriage counseling, he suddenly wants to start. Signed us up for counseling and everything. It's now almost 3, and he says he wants me to try counseling. Me. I've been ready. I told him the notebook I had him get me was filled with stuff for counseling, and I've been ready for a long time. And he's the one who needs to try. That if he's not doing this for himself, there's no effing point. I see no way of salvaging our relationship anymore. Honestly, I hate being around him, and everything is more peaceful with him out of the house. I wish he had a job that took him away for months at a time. I wish I never met him. I wish my dumb butt left the first time I didn't go back. Now we have a child, and I'm stuck to him for 18 years. Other fun facts. He won't let me see any of the finances, no passwords to financial apps, credit card apps, etc., and is essentially financially abusing me because I quit my budding career as a newly licensed nail tech to have our son and be a stay-at-home mom. I live in Wisconsin, and at the time, elective abortion was illegal and my birth control failed. Yay me, I'm tied to this man for 18 years. I'm now having to find some kind of work from home with a 2.5 year gap in my resume. He gaslights me all the time. For example, and trust me, after this incident, he was done. He used to do pool league. One night, he decided after pool, where he drinks, he and some dudes I've never met will walk to our new house to smoke the weed he had stored there. Turned out he didn't have the key to the house or his wallet ID, so he broke in. He's lucky the neighbors didn't call the cops. And he told me if they had, he would have just told the cops he was there cleaning. Home was previously owned by an indoor smoker, and we were in the process of cleaning the walls and floors. Yeah, a police officer is totally going to buy 2 to 3 drunk dudes cleaning an empty house. Later, he denied he ever told me he would tell the police he was cleaning. Oh, yeah, we're both 30. A 30-year-old man breaking into a house with no ID is definitely a normal thing to do. He has issues with alcohol. Used to be a hardcore alcoholic when he lived in Cali before his car accident. He was not the driver. We tried to go camping one year with his parents and younger brother, and he got blackout drunk, choked his mom, and spent the weekend in jail. First time I should have left him. He was court ordered not to touch alcohol for 1 year, and during that time, he would hide cans from me. I now have to monitor any drinking he does. I don't drink due to medication, and he's no longer allowed to play pool due to him drinking there, coming home slurring his speech, and then starting arguments. Tells me he doesn't have problems with alcohol. Right, because it's normal for people to hide alcohol cans. tells me he doesn't have daddy issues, despite the fact that the weekend he got arrested, he told his brother, at least you get to grow up with a dad, referring to his stepdad. Husband's bio dad died when he was 12 and he never got to meet him. And anytime he get drunk after that, he says he feel guilty for not keeping in contact with his dad's mom, and how she guilt trips him for not keeping in contact, but she literally never calls him, and phones work both ways. But sure, no daddy issues. Tells me he doesn't have issues communicating his emotions, but every time he does, he goes straight into yelling or crying. Right. Anyway, now I admit I do have my own issues, but I've been taking the steps to help myself. I recently got diagnosed with ADHD and autistic traits, going to get on meds February, soonest opening I could get. Currently on medication for my depression and anxiety. The place that diagnosed me also does counseling services and does virtual visits that I'm using. Cut my hair and started putting in effort to bring my curls out, using all new products. I don't even know what to do with, but I'm learning, working out, and just generally better. But I'm just done. I'm tired of being called crazy, not wanting to even talk or be near him because I know an argument will start. Tired of him saying being a stay-at-home mom isn't a job because he works two jobs by choice. He could drop down to one if he really wanted. And taking care of our toddler is easy when our son acts completely different with him and he doesn't experience the screaming, hitting, and biting I experience all day long. Of course, it's easy when he gets to be the fun dad who doesn't enforce no, and I don't even get a break on holidays when he's in the room, when other adults are in the room, because according to him, he just doesn't think about it. When you're literally a parent, what do you mean you don't think about it? Why am I the only one actively listening, watching our child when we do try and spend time with each other, but I'm still having to be the only parent? It would be easier without him, since there wouldn't be his BS to deal with on the daily. I'm now looking to find a stay-at-home job because, like I said, no access to finances, couldn't leave even if I wanted, and paying for childcare could take a huge chunk of the pay. The goal is to become financially independent within the next year and then leave him. I don't see any way to save this relationship because he thinks I'm the whole problem and that he's just perfect and there's no issues on his end. And according to him, everyone else loves him, gets along great with him. Yeah, because they don't have to deal with his butt for 2 to 3 hours a day and on his best behavior. 5 years of my life wasted on this man child. I don't even want to date other people. I'm too tired for that too. I just want to be, I just don't want to be with him anymore. There's just too much BS for us to work anymore. Wow. Like I said, this woman took the time to type all of this up for me. And what I am seeing is so many women are just through. And this is another example of a woman who is a stay-at-home mom, and now she has to figure out a game plan on how she's going to create some kind of plan to get out of this relationship. And so this is one of the reasons why I talk about things like having a plan B, C, D, all of the plans, because you just really never know. And then when things go bad, you have to really, really try to figure out, how am I going to get out of this and survive and take care of my child? People think that I'm crazy for talking about these things, like I'm anti-marriage or pro-divorce or something. No, I just want women to be able to survive and thrive regardless of marital status, because things could go wrong, just like what's going on with this lady. Anyways, join the conversation, y'all. Let me know what you think about this. Don't forget